I have two absolutely insane replays to go over for you, so you're definitely going to want to watch both of these matches. To start off, of course, we're playing Dark Magician in the Legend Anthology Academy event, going second against this Cyburst G-Golem deck. I remember this deck from the tryout duels, and I make a super big misplay here using my DD Crow on a Dotscaper because I forgot how this deck works, apparently, even though I remembered, hey, I remember playing these cards in the tryout duel event. And yeah, I do a completely useless play here, banishing the Dotscaper because I didn't actually continue reading the card and saying that if it's banished, you also special summon it. But if it goes to graveyard, you also can special summon it. So either one, you special summon it, and you only use one of the effects per turn anyways, and each effect once per duel. So I just gave them a free summon off of the banish, and then they can still use the effect if they're somehow able to bring this back and get it to the graveyard. Anyways, that's not the biggest misplay. The biggest misplay is that I wasted the DD Crow. The DD Crow stops this combo because they're going to go into the Menhir off of the G-Golem Hammer, and then Menhir goes into Crystal Heart. Crystal Heart targets the Menhir to bring it back. I just stop it right here. I can banish the Menhir, preventing them from getting the Menhir effect of bringing back a card and then going into Transcode. They could have made another Menhir, I think, but they wouldn't have been able to get the extension. Or even better, I just wait to target the card the Transcode is trying to target and banish the Menhir this way, preventing the further extension. So because I made that huge misplay, I'm down a card that gave them actually a free extension off of the Dotscaper anyways, and it allows them to set up this insane board, which I'll quickly break down for you here. Basically, the Transcode is co-linked to the Dolmen and the Crystal Heart, which means that it gives both these cards and itself untargetability, as well as 500 extra attack for all of these cards. The Crystal Heart, because it has a counter, it gives the Transcode, because it's co-linked to it, it gives it 600 extra attack, so this thing is boosted by 1100 total. It makes it so that it can attack twice, and it has piercing battle damage. Then the G-Golem Invalid Dolmen, because it's co-linked to the Transcode, has effects of the co-linked cards are unaffected by monster effects. So even if I had a monster effect that didn't target, it's just these two cards are unaffected by it anyways. And then if I'm somehow able to destroy this card, because it's co-linked, it will negate all of my face-up cards on the field. How can I play around this? Well, I do play Board Breakers and Lava Golem and Super Poly, which play around all of these unique effects to make these cards kind of invincible, air quotes, because Super Poly doesn't target, it can just fuse the monsters away via a spell effect, not a monster effect. And then the Lava Golem is not a monster effect, it can just tribute over these two cards and get them both off the field right away, which doesn't destroy them, and it doesn't target or is not a monster effect, so I can definitely tribute them with the Lava Golem effect, right? So a couple of big misplays, but I still have some potential play. I draw the Dark Burning Magic, which is absolutely crazy. So I'm thinking to myself here, it took me a little while to figure out what's the line. I'm going to start with Preparation of Rites, grab Illusion of Chaos, then normal summon Rod to grab Soul Servant, activate Illusion of Chaos here, grab Magician's Souls, and put back the Illusion of Chaos because I can just bring it back with Preparation of Rites anyways. I don't know how I feel about that. Should I have just put back the Preparation? Or should I have just activated Preparation to bring the Illusion of Chaos back to my hand anyways at this point so I don't draw another one? It doesn't really matter, I don't think. But we have to dump the Dark Magician Girl because we need the Dark Magician Girl in rotation. I make another questionable play here. I should have probably just searched for Eternal Soul, because if I'm going to use Dark Burning Magic, it's going to destroy the Dolmen, which is just going to add to this Salvation being negated anyways. So why waste the Salvation here? Just grab the Eternal Soul, because the Eternal Soul is going to end up being negated regardless. So after I review this stuff, I kind of realized the misplays. You don't really see it in the moment. Again, you're on a timer. At this point, I had like half my time left trying to think, what did I do? How do I out this after my huge misplay? So I'm kind of just frazzled a little bit. I have to attack into this. Oh, I don't think I mentioned, this is a Towers monster. You can only attack into it, and you have to attack into it if you have an attack position monster. So I can't even attack anything else. I have to suicide the Magician's Rod. But I do have the Eternal Soul set, which will allow me to special summon the Dark Magician during the opponent's turn. And then my Dark Burning Magic is a quick play spell, so I set this as well. I activate it, and I wipe the board. So I should still be fine to at least have some play next turn, and I do have the Preparation ready to bring back the Illusion of Chaos, which will give me play next turn. So I special summon the Dark Magician in the draw phase to play around any potential back row removal. Like if they dustered me, I would only be able to chain Eternal Soul, and I wouldn't be able to chain the Dark Burning Magic. I would lose everything on my field, right? So I wouldn't even activate Eternal Soul. So this way, if they do duster me now, I can at least chain the Dark Burning Magic and wipe their field along with it, right? But I make a huge mistake by letting them get to main phase 1, because if they opted to go straight into access code, and then make access code the last chain link. I can't respond to access code effects, and then they just pop my Eternal Soul, wipe my field, and then just attack me for game, I think. But my opponent was probably thinking like, oh, I don't want to break my powerful setup that I worked so hard to build. And I didn't actually realize this until after they special summoned the addition here, and then I chose not to respond to the addition being summoned. And then I was like, oh my god, I messed up. If they go for access code here, I lose, right? And then as soon as I saw the Lingaribo and the addition being used, I was like, I'm instantly using the Dark Burning Magic as soon as this card is summoned. They go for the Binary Sorceress here, and then we go for the Dark Burning Magic. That 0.006 usage rate coming in clutch, activating the Magician's Rod in the graveyard to tribute the Dark Magician so we get it back to hand. This allows us to have really strong follow-up for next turn with the Preparation and the Magician's Rod, but the Dolmen is going to negate the Salvation and the Eternal Soul, meaning we cannot bring back Dark Magician from the graveyard or search for the Dark Magic attack that we have left in our deck. That's fine though. We're going to go ahead and prep for the Illusion effect to grab Magician's Souls, and then we're going to put back the Dark Magician since our Eternal Soul is dead anyways. We're going to Magician's Rod for Soul Servant. Soul Servant's going to go ahead and stack secrets because we have OTK here, right? We're going to go ahead and banish Soul Servant, draw 2 because we have Dark Magician in the graveyard as well as Dark Magician Girl on field. We draw the secrets that we stack as well as the Dark Magic attack. Use the Magician Souls to bring back a Dark Magician after dumping it. And this is 6100 damage on board. During the battle phase, we use the Secrets of Dark Magic to fuse into the Dark Magicians. Unfortunately, the opponent on our special summon of the Dark Magician uses the Gnome material. This is insane. So this card makes it so that I can't use one of the cards that it targets as fusion material, but it doesn't matter. They opted to target the Dark Magician Girl there, but it doesn't matter what they ended up targeting. Even if they targeted the Dark Magician, it doesn't mean anything because Secret says that we can use it to fusion summon any monster from the extra deck that we just have to use the Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl as the fusion material. It doesn't have to be a fusion monster that lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl as material. And even if it was, we were fine anyways because we can still summon the Dark Magicians using either Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl and the Magician's Rod. So whatever they negate here, we can still go into the Dark Magicians. We can also still go into Garua. We could have gone into the Dark Magician Girl. Well, no, sorry, we can't do this one because it's a dragon monster. But we could have done Starving Venom using the other two dark monsters. We were totally fine either way. So battle phase, we attack for the 6100, and then we're going to activate secrets in the battle phase, and the opponent kind of realizes that there's nothing they can do, and they end up resigning. So, wow, what a misplay, but we're able to take that game still off of, I guess, just... yeah, we like to take the hard route. I just do this to show you guys, you know, you can make mistakes and you can still come back. That's how strong Dark Magician is. Go watch that deck list video. This is a good deck. It's like an 85% win rate for me right now, and I have like 5,000 medals. It's killing it in the event right now. Anyways, let's get on to the last match. I mean, I don't know about you, but I like saving money, and being free to play is fantastic, especially when you beat that money deck. And right now, we're going to actually see us go up against a very decked out hero deck that, you'd spend a little bit to make it, I guess. But anyways, let's get straight into this match. Opening hand, we end up with the Magician's Soul setting an Eternal Soul from the deck because it makes the Dark Magician in our hand live. But we also got the Super Poly. Now, the reason that this works nicely with the deck is because Super Poly can pitch Dark Magician, and it's a free special summon back with Eternal Soul. Right? Why would you summon the Dark Magician from hand if you can just summon it from the grave? So the opponent reveals it on hero. That's great because Super Poly can do work against heroes since, they might bring out like double light warriors, double wind warriors, whatever. We just have to make sure that the attributes match up, but everything is essentially a warrior in elemental hero. So the opponent is going to pop off here with their hero combos. This card is absolutely crazy because they're able to get the Neos Fusion. Ultra rare, very spicy stuff. This card is kind of crazy. They're going to go ahead and bring out the Neos, bring out the Brave, I don't even know what this is, Brave Neos now, and then they're going to get the insane effects of like getting an elemental hero off of the mist being pitched, as well as banishing this card to draw 2 and put a card back. So their hand is going to go back up to 6, and they've got these insane materials on board. But what's nice is, hey, this thing is a light warrior, and so is the elemental hero Neos, light warrior. So that's an instant Garua, which is going to save us a lot in this matchup. So yeah, the opponent is still very stacked though. They're going to go battle phase, and we are going to now trigger that Super Poly, go into our Garua, And for some reason, they wanted to use their Honest Neos and just, yeah, I guess clear our field off, which is fine, because the Garua is going to enable us to draw 1, and we draw Secrets, which is pretty good. Now, during the end phase, we are going to Eternal Soul, bring back Dark Magician. And I was debating, do I want to attempt to go for a Search of Dark Magic attack to clear off this back row? Because I don't really know what heroes would play that this card would affect. So I'm waiting to see what my draw is. And I'm thinking here, let me just go battle phase and attack into the Stratos first. Then use Secrets, fuse off Dark Magician and Timaeus to make the Dark Magician Dragon Knight, which will then attack for 3,000 damage, and then I can use Eternal Soul, bring back Dark Magician, and attack again for more damage. Or, if they don't have anything triggerable, I could have main phase 2 searched for Dark Magic attack, and then because the Dragon Knight is considered a Dark Magician name on the field, I'm pretty sure I activate Dark Magic attack with that card being named Dark Magician while it's on the field. However, they have favorite contact, which is, I didn't even know what this card did. It's absolutely busted though. They're able to straight up bring out a very powerful fusion monster in the Sunrise and grab Miracle Fusion, which is insane follow-up for next turn. So in battle phase, thankfully, we are still able to use the fusion in order to go into Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, which will allow us to beat over the Sunrise. Now there's no need to search for Dark Magic attack, so we're just going to use Eternal Soul in the battle phase still to bring back the Dark Magician and attack for 25, just some extra damage. Now, the opponent obviously has way more advantage with the cards in their hand. We know they've got the Miracle Fusion follow-up. They've got a number of materials here. And what sucks is that Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, another ultra rare. A lot of ultra rares in these hero decks. Very money, right? They're going to be able to banish 2 fusion monsters to make that Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. And so I'm like, well, the Power Sync Stone is the only thing that can save me at this point. Because they're going to be able to beat over and kind of OTK with Wake Up Your Elemental Hero if they activate enough effects that the Power Sync Stone do not activate enough effects so that the Power Sync Stone activates. So you're going to see them activate one effect immediately in the Cross, which I guess is banished here. Yep, so they banished the Cross, which is odd. Okay. Yeah, 2 fusions and Cross to make the Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. So, you know, 1 Elemental Hero fusion monster plus 1+ warrior monsters. So they used 2 fusions, which means this card can make a number of attacks on monsters each battle phase up to the number of fusion monsters as used as materials for its summon. So that's 2 attacks. And then after damage calculation, if this card destroys or this card, yeah, battles a monster, destroy that monster and inflict damage to me based on the original attack. So I'm pretty sure if they just battle it and it gets destroyed by battle, it still triggers the effect to deal like the monster's original attack to my life point. So he's going to beat over this because it's going to gain attack here, right? Yeah, it's gaining 3,400. So I would take 400 plus 3,000, then I would take 900 plus 2,500. I could Eternal Soul, bring back Dark Magician in attack, and then the Neos would suicide into it. But they've got another Neos fusion, which is absolutely nuts. And I'm like, there's no way, right? But they have to use the one from on the field, which is good. And they bring out Grand Neos, and I'm just like, no way they just made that misplay. I would have still survived, and then I would have Lava Golem, so I still had play, you know, Eternal Soul, bring back Dark Magician, but I would have been in a rough spot. It depends on what my top deck would be to see if I could play out of it, because Lava Golem in defense is 25, I wouldn't have been able to beat over it with Dark Magician. But because they make this play, I'm actually able to win the game, funnily enough. So this card says, must first be special summoned, blah, 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 blah. Once per turn, target 1 monster your opponent controls, return that target to the hand. So they must not know, like, this is called Dark Magician. It's unaffected because Eternal Soul is on the field. Like, these 2 cards protect each other right now. And as soon as the Power Sync activates, this card is negated automatically, which means now my Eternal Soul is vulnerable, but my card is still unaffected because of the Eternal Soul. But my back row is now can be destroyed because this card no longer protects the back row once the sync is activated. But this card is like the Dark Magicians on the field are unaffected by card effects. So they're going to attempt to target the Dark Magician, and it doesn't work, so it stays on field. It does not get spun back to the extra deck. And now my Power Sync Stone gets 2 counters, which means everything on the field is negated, including the Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, which is going to drop back down to 2,500 attack, and it has no effects now. And then they realize, and then they scoop. So, I don't know. Thank you for making that misplay. And we're able to take that game. But that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed these Dark Magician replays. Pretty interesting stuff. 2 times in both these matches, I could have lost if my opponent just made the right play, but yeah, it's hard to kind of think through what the plays are sometimes. But yeah, GG's. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Our win percentage with Dark Magician is something crazy, like 85%, I think, right now. So the only matches we've lost were like we got OTK'd or we bricked, which is very rare actually so far for the deck, which is surprising. But yeah, anyways, this video is getting kind of long. Let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more Master Duel videos.